Okay, so let's take the next question. Our next question is, which is correct about the suture material in this image? Okay, so the options are polyfilament, braided, monofilament, and biological. Okay, so to read suture material, so few information itself is basically given in this image, right? So number one thing is that it's a basically proline in nature. Okay, also there has been mention of the polypropylene suture, what is, and this is going to be the full name. Now let's try to understand. In this image also there is a mention of blue monofilament. Okay, so it has been asked in this question, right? So whether it is a polyfilament or monofilament, so they are asking about the correct statement. So it is already false statement, just simply looking here. Now it's a basically ever point. This is the next point, and the cardiovascular needle also has been mentioned. Okay, please do try to understand the information that you can easily obtain from there. It's a blue in color. Okay, blue in color, and it's a 60 needle, and all, and it's a basically double ended. Okay, so here is the one needle and here is the another needle. Okay, now let's try to understand few important things regarding the suture. So in this image, they are basically given you regarding the Prolene suture. So this Prolene is basically polypropylene suture. Okay, it's basically made up of polypropylene. Now this Prolene is basically monofilament suture. Monofilament means the one suture. The suture material is made up of single filament. Okay, so now, as the material suggested, it's a basically synthetic and non-absorbable. Okay, synthetic and non-absorbable suture. So it doesn't going to uh, absorb on its own. Okay, due to enzymatic digestion. Now the next important structure is that it's a structure. As I have already mentioned, it's a monofilament. So that's it. It's a single stranded. Okay, now it's a not a braided one. So as it is not a braided one, so it's going to be a smooth. Okay. Now the Prolene is basically normal Prolene which we usually used in case of operation theaters and here and there. So this is the dyed one. So they are basically dye with a blue color. So that's why they are basically seen with a blue, right? Blue color. The typical indication, mostly the cardiovascular cases, even the plastic surgical case or few general surgical cases as well, we try to go for the Prolene. Okay. Now, the thing regarding the monofilament, I have already mentioned you, it's basically made up of a single strand. So, one filament, like the one suture material is made up of one strand or one filament. Now, the advantage, it is basically smooth in nature. So, as a result of that, it basically smoothly passes through the tissue while applying this suture. So, this is going to be the first advantage. Next advantage is that low tissue drag. So as a result, it is a smooth while passing through the tissue. It basically drags less amount of the tissue with it. So it's going to be the another advantage. And as it is a monofilament, it's a not a polyfilament. So what happens is that in the polyfilament suture, so in between the two filament, there is a space for the bacteria get deposited. So that eventually increases with a bacterial risk of eventually associated with a bacterial infection. But here my friend, it's a basically monofilament, right? So as a result of that, the infection chances is pretty much low in this case. Okay, now the disadvantage, is that it's a memory is basically higher. So as a result of that, there is a higher memory. So it basically resists its so the disadvantage is that it basically associated with a higher memory. So the higher memory means the coiling tendency. So the coiling tendency has been seen much more in this case of Prolene. So as a result of that, it's a little bit struggle has been made initially to handle this suture. Okay, so and the next thing is that it basically need careful knot security. So we try to incorporate multiple knots while applying this, okay, to get a secure suture in this case. Now here is a beautiful image depiction has been given for you guys. So let's try to understand. So this one here, right, this one is basically braided, right? So you can easily able to see there is a multiple filament and that has been associated in the same suture. So this is what is your braided suture. Same thing you can also able to see because of silk, and same thing can also be able to see in case of polyglycolic acid. And the rest of the thing are the monofilament. You can see that, right? So these are the monofilament suture. So obviously the polyfilament I have already mentioned, it's a basically multiple strand which is not applicable in this case. Then there is a braided means it's a basically woven polyfilament. So it's not smooth in nature, right? And the biological, it's not again a biological. The polypropylene is a synthetic material and which is non-absorbable one, okay? So it basically makes us, the answer is monofilament, okay? Its answer is monofilament. So it's the biological is not going to be the answer, it's a synthetic one. Braided is also not going to be the option, polyfilament is not going to be the option, okay?